Welcome to Stories with Gaming, where drama meets gameplay. From outrageous family secrets to quiet revenge, toxic friendships to moments of redemption, we cover it all, straight from Reddit's wildest threads. While the story unfolds, you'll see gameplay in the background, sometimes intense, sometimes chill, but always a perfect match for the chaos or calm of each tale. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for your daily update. There's this strange kind of emptiness that creeps in when your life looks perfect on paper. You know the kind. The glossy countertops, the house that smells like eucalyptus candles and lemon pledge, the husband with a six-figure salary, the well-behaved kids in private school. From the outside, it probably looks like I won the lottery. And maybe I did. But why does it feel like I'm still losing? I was sitting in the breakfast nook this morning, sunlight dripping through the windows like honey, watching the dog chase shadows on the patio. My coffee had gone cold. Again. I make it fresh every morning, but somehow I never drink it. I guess it's just part of the routine now, like packing lunches, folding socks, scrolling through Instagram just to feel like I exist somewhere outside of this house. Evan left early, 7:10, like clockwork. He always walks softly when he doesn't want to wake the kids. I heard the door click shut. No kiss, no goodbye, just the usual soft clink of his keys hitting the tray by the door. He thinks that's respectful. I think it's cold. I used to admire that quiet steadiness in him, the way he just handled everything, never raised his voice, always so calm. But lately, it's like living with a ghost in slacks. My phone buzzed. Evan, transferred your monthly. Let me know if you need more. Love you. I stared at the screen. It always says the same thing, like it's been copy-pasted out of obligation. $2,000. That's what he calls my monthly. I hate that word. It sounds sterile, corporate, like I'm a bill he has to pay to keep the household running. He covers everything: the mortgage, utilities, groceries, school fees, even the little extras like my facials or Pilates classes. And if I ever ask for more, he gives it. No questions, no hesitation. But that's just it. I always have to ask. What kind of marriage runs on permission? 7 years. That's how long we've been married. I left my job in digital marketing after Mia was born. It just made sense. Daycare was a fortune, and Evan said he wanted our kids raised by us, not strangers. At the time, I felt lucky, supported, seen. Now it feels like I traded my freedom for a comfortable prison. Mom, where's my hoodie? Mia's voice echoed from upstairs. Laundry room, I yelled back, trying not to sound annoyed, but failing. Of course it was in the laundry room. That's where everything ends up when you're the only one who notices what's dirty and what's not. I had just ironed their uniforms, packed their lunches with those little bento dividers they love, and scribbled out another cheesy note for each lunchbox. You're magic. Don't forget it. But no one ever thanks you for invisible labor. They just assume it's background noise. I plopped back down at the table and picked up my phone, thumb-tapping through Instagram stories. Women on yachts, matching mom-daughter outfits in Bali, someone's soft life glow-up series. I saw a post from a girl I used to intern with. She was in Rome, eating gelato in linen pants with the caption, "Paid in peace, not just money." Must be nice. Later, I met up with Sabrina for coffee. She's one of those naturally chill moms, the kind who doesn't wear makeup but always looks pulled together anyway. We met at this little cafe with reclaimed wood tables and drinks that take 20 minutes to make. You look radiant, she said, raising an eyebrow. New concealer or unresolved resentment? I laughed, but not really. Oh, definitely resentment. Tastes better than oat milk. She smirked. What's he done now? I stirred my latte. Nothing new, just the usual. Evan transferred my monthly this morning. $2,000, same as always. Isn't that what you usually get? Yeah, but that's not the point. It's the fact that I have to wait for him to send it. I don't have access to the main account. I literally have to ask every time I want to buy something outside the grocery list. Wait, seriously? Yes. I mean, sure, he pays for everything. House, bills, all of it. But it's still our money, isn't it? Sabrina hesitated. I mean, technically, you're not working, so he earns it, right? I narrowed my eyes. Wow, thanks. No, I didn't mean it like that. I thought you were okay with the way things were set up. I was. But lately it's just, God, it feels like I'm living off rations. I shouldn't have to ask to buy a sweater. Have you asked for joint access? I've hinted. Hinted? Okay, I mentioned it. Once. Maybe twice. Sabrina gave me a look that felt too honest. Claire, he's not withholding. You said yourself, he gives you what you ask for. It's the principle, I snapped. I shouldn't have to ask in the first place. She didn't say anything after that, just sipped her matcha like she was trying not to step on a landmine. That night, Evan got home just after 6. He hung up his coat, kissed the top of my head, and went straight to help Luca with his homework. I watched them from the hallway. The way he bent down to Luca's level, explaining fractions like they were magic tricks. He looked tired, soft around the edges, but not in a bad way. I should have felt grateful. Instead, I felt edged out, like they were fine without me. I leaned against the doorway. You didn't call today. He looked up. Meetings. Sorry. I'm just saying, a text wouldn't kill you. I texted you this morning. Oh, right. About the money. I didn't bother hiding my tone. Evan put the pencil down slowly. Claire, that's not fair. Sorry, I said, voice laced with venom I couldn't control. I should be more grateful for my ration. Luca glanced up. Poor kid. I hadn't even realized he was listening. Evan stood. I'm not trying to control you. I thought this system worked. If it doesn't, we can talk about it. What if I don't want to talk about it anymore? I asked. What if I just want access, without having to ask? He looked at me like I'd just spoken another language. Then we'll figure it out. But of course, we didn't. That night, after the kids were asleep, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling fan. Evan was downstairs on another late-night work call with his team in India. I could hear his voice, low, even, always composed. And for some reason, that composure made me furious. How could someone be so unaffected all the time? How could he carry everything, the bills, the stress, the marriage, and still sleep like a stone while I lay here unraveling? I used to think we were building something together. A family, a home, a life that felt solid. But now, I don't know. I can't tell if I'm building or sinking. All I know is I want more. And I don't know if that makes me ungrateful or just finally awake. I don't know when exactly it started to feel like I was suffocating in my own life. Maybe it was the 3rd week in a row Evan came home past 7 without so much as a sorry babe, long day. Or maybe it was when I stood in front of the grocery store for 10 minutes, debating whether I should text him to approve a $110 Target run, even though he never says no. It's not about the money. It never was. It's about the breath I hold in my chest when I ask for it. I've been craving air. I brought it up again a few nights later, gently, carefully, like walking barefoot on broken glass. The kids were asleep. Evan had finally shut his laptop. We were lying side by side, the room dark except for the soft blue light of his phone. I was thinking, I started, keeping my voice even. It might make more sense for me to have access to the main account. His eyes didn't leave the screen. You already have your card, Claire. That's not the same, and you know it. He sighed, set the phone down. What's this really about? I swallowed. Control, trust, dignity, take your pick. I do trust you. Then prove it. There was a long pause, and then he said something that pissed me off more than if he'd shouted. I don't think access is the issue here. I blinked. Excuse me? I think you're looking for something else and assuming a bank login will fix it. I sat up. Are you calling me irrational? No, I'm saying maybe there's more going on. Maybe we should talk to someone. He meant therapy. Again. A week later, I sat across from my laptop, Googling financial abuse signs while folding the laundry. The results were mixed. Some articles described scenarios that felt familiar, spouses withholding money, controlling spending, treating the other like a child. Others painted much darker pictures. I didn't fit cleanly into either category, which somehow made me feel even more trapped. Then I did something I knew Evan would hate. I posted anonymously on a forum, Relationship Talks for Real, a thread titled, Am I Being Financially Controlled? I gave the details. Stay-at-home mom. Husband earns $280K, pays for everything. I get $2,000 a month and extra whenever I ask, but no access to joint funds. The responses were mixed. Some women called it abuse. Others said it sounded fair. One user wrote, You're not being financially controlled. You're financially supported. Huge difference. That stung more than it should have. Another said, You don't want equality. You want full autonomy without contributing financially. That's not partnership. That's entitlement. I clicked off the tab. What did they know? The next morning, I tried something new. "Hey, Evan," I said over breakfast, "I'm thinking of starting an Etsy shop." He looked up from his coffee. "Really?" "Yeah, maybe some custom home prints or digital planners. Something simple. Just a little side thing." "Cool. You want help setting it up?" "Nope," I smiled, overly proud. "I got it." And for a few days, I felt electric, like I was finally building something of my own. I created a logo, listed 3 products. I even posted a soft launch teaser on Instagram, but then the printer jammed, and Mia got strep, and I forgot to update the shipping profiles. And within 2 weeks, I closed the shop quietly, without telling anyone. Evan never asked. Maybe he didn't want to embarrass me. Maybe he never believed in it to begin with. Either way, I hated how small I felt again, like my value only extended as far as my ability to fold a fitted sheet. That weekend, while Evan was outside fixing the sprinkler system, I tried to vent to the kids. Not outright, but little things. "Daddy never finishes anything," I muttered, folding towels as Mia sat nearby drawing unicorns. "He starts fixing the yard, then disappears into work." Again, Mia looked up, confused. "He's just busy, Mom." I paused. "I know, sweetie. It'd be nice if he prioritized us more." She frowned. "He does? He works for us." I bit my tongue, I guess. Later that night, I overheard her telling Luca in a whispery voice, "I think Mom's mad at Dad again, but he didn't even do anything this time." I felt a weird kind of betrayal I didn't know how to process. We went to church that Sunday. Just for show, really. Evan's the only one who seems to get anything out of it anymore. Afterward, we ran into the Palmers in the parking lot. Angela, her husband James, and their golden retriever of a daughter. Angela gushed over Evan's new promotion like she was the one getting the bonus. I forced a smile. "Yeah, Evan's been working a lot." Angela laughed. "Girl, that's the dream." A man who brings home 6 figures and doesn't bother you while you shop? You hit the jackpot. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell her that the jackpot doesn't mean freedom. It doesn't mean independence. It means asking for money like you're 12 and he's your dad. Instead, I smiled tighter. Sure. The dream. Evan just stood there, relaxed, quiet, like he didn't hear the sarcasm clinging to every word I said. Maybe he was too used to tuning me out by now. That night, Luca came into the kitchen while I was loading the dishwasher. "Mom?" "Yeah, honey?" He shifted his weight. "Do you ever think maybe you're just mad a lot?" I froze. "What do you mean?" "I dunno." He looked embarrassed. "Sometimes you say Dad doesn't do enough, but he kind of does a lot." I turned away. "That's not your place to comment on." "I know. Sorry." He walked out quietly, and I just stood there, hands dripping with soap, heart sinking. My own son was starting to doubt me. I lay in bed that night, eyes open, listening to Evan's soft breathing beside me. He'd fallen asleep almost instantly, like he always did, like nothing bothered him, like his wife wasn't quietly spiraling 6 inches away from him. I used to want his attention, his presence, his partnership. Now, I wanted proof that he saw what I was going through. But the truth, the one I didn't dare say out loud, was this. If I really was being abused, why did so much of it still look like love? Something changed in Evan. It was subtle at first, like the way someone stops holding your hand before you even notice they let go. He still came home at 6, still paid the bills, still asked how the kids were. But there was a weight missing from his presence, a softness I didn't realize I had relied on until it was gone. He didn't fight with me. He didn't argue. He just drifted. And the silence was louder than anything he'd ever said. I started noticing it in the way he looked at me, or, more accurately, how he didn't. His eyes would land on me and then slide away like I was a window. Transparent. Forgettable. He was polite, careful. But careful in the way a surgeon handles something already dead. And yet, part of me still believed I could fix it, or control it, or twist it into something that made me the victim. Again. So I tried new tactics. One night after dinner, I said, "I feel like we're roommates." Evan glanced up from his plate. Okay. That doesn't bother you?" I asked. He chewed slowly, swallowed. "It does. I just don't think talking about it changes much anymore." That stopped me cold. There was no bite in his voice, no anger. Just this numb sort of detachment that stung more than yelling ever could. I ramped up my efforts after that. I cried more, left the dishes undone, forgot to pack Mia's lunch one morning just to see if Evan would say something. He didn't. He just quietly did it himself and left a sticky note on the fridge. She likes strawberries, not grapes. Was he mocking me? Being helpful? I couldn't tell anymore. Even the kids noticed something was off. Mia, sweet as ever, started spending more time in her room. When I asked why, she said, "I'm just tired a lot lately." But I could hear her whispering to Luca through the walls. One night I caught, "I think they're gonna break up. Because Mom's mad all the time? Yeah, and Dad doesn't look at her anymore." It crushed me. Worse than that, I didn't blame them. I started documenting things. Little things. Evan not replying to my texts. Evan eating dinner without saying thanks. Evan scrolling while I talked. I made a list in my notes app called Proof. It was pathetic. I knew it. But something in me needed to be right. Needed a reason to justify the storm I kept brewing. I even told my sister Alina during one of our rare phone calls. "He's checked out," I said. "It's like he's just waiting for me to leave." Alina hesitated. "Have you considered that he might be just tired?" "Tired of what?" "He has everything. I do everything for this house." "I know, but Claire, when's the last time you asked him how he's doing?" I rolled my eyes. "He's fine. He's always fine." But even as I said it, something twisted in my gut. I made another mistake that week. I posted on my Instagram story, just a black screen with the words, "Financial control is still abuse. Don't let comfort make you blind." It was vague enough to keep people guessing, but pointed enough to get the reactions I wanted. Hearts. Reactions. A few concerned DMs. But the comments, they weren't all what I expected. One said, "Didn't you say your husband pays for everything and gives you money whenever you ask? That's not abuse. That's luxury." Another, "Girl, you're at home. He's working 60 hours a week. Maybe just be grateful?" I deleted the story within the hour. Evan never brought it up. Either he didn't see it or he was beyond caring. Then came the breaking point. We were sitting in the living room. He was helping Luca with a science project. I was watching them from the doorway, arms crossed, irritated for reasons I couldn't even name. Maybe it was the way they laughed together, or how natural it was for them. Like I wasn't even part of the picture. "Luca," I said, sharper than I meant to, "you didn't put away your cereal this morning." Again. He looked up. "Oh, sorry, I forgot." "Forgot?" I scoffed. "You're 12, not 2. Evan raised a brow. "Claire? What?" I snapped. Evan just looked at me, calm but weary. He said sorry. Well, sorry doesn't clean up the mess, does it? The room went silent. Luca's face fell, and for the first time, Evan didn't shield me. He didn't smooth it over or distract Luca or make an excuse. He just said, "Go upstairs, bud." Luca left, and Evan turned to me. "You're unraveling." I flinched. "Excuse me?" "This version of you, it's not who you were." I laughed, bitter. "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was required to stay sweet and small just because you make the money." "That's not what I'm saying." "Then what are you saying, Evan? That you're perfect and I'm crazy?" "I'm saying," he said quietly, "that I don't know how to be married to someone who sees herself as the victim no matter what I do." I didn't respond. I couldn't. Because deep down, I was afraid he was right. The next morning, he left a list on the counter. Not passive-aggressively. Not with malice. Just a list. Lawyer contacts, mediation services, separate bank setup options. At the bottom, in his soft, efficient handwriting, "We can talk about next steps. I'm not angry. I just can't keep doing this." I stared at the list for an hour. Then I cried. The ugly kind, the kind that doesn't fix anything. That night, I tried one last time. I told Mia I'd take her out for ice cream. Just us girls. She said no. "I have homework," she said, eyes on her book. "You always have homework." "I like doing it." I paused. "Can't we just have fun for once?" She looked up. "Is this because Dad's mad at you?" My mouth went dry. "He's not mad." She tilted her head. "Then why do you look so scared all the time?" I didn't answer, because I didn't know how to. There wasn't a single moment where it all collapsed. No dramatic fight, no door slamming off the hinges, no screaming. Just a slow, excruciating unraveling, like a thread pulled so gradually that by the time you notice, the whole thing's already come undone. That's how Evan left. He didn't storm out. He didn't pack in secret. He didn't sleep on the couch. He just disengaged. One piece at a time. And I watched him do it like someone staring at a tide they thought would never go out. It started with the suitcase. Not a large one, just the black carry-on he always brought on work trips. He left it by the bedroom door one morning, zipped up, upright. I asked where he was going. He said, "Somewhere I can think." I laughed, trying to sound casual. "That sounds dramatic." He didn't laugh back. The kids took it better than I expected. Too well, honestly. "Dad's just staying at Uncle Matt's for a little," I told them. Luca didn't look surprised. "Is it because of the fight?" "What fight?" "The one where you cried in the bathroom." I felt exposed, like someone had opened me up in the middle of the street. "No, sweetheart, it's just grown-up stuff." He nodded like he'd already figured that out. Mia sat beside him, not saying a word, just drawing circles on the back of an envelope. Her silence cut more than his honesty. Evan still came by, at first. He picked the kids up from school, took them to the park, ate dinner with them here once or twice, always polite, always kind. But something about him had shifted. He smiled, but it never touched his eyes. He listened, but never lingered. He looked at me like I was someone he used to know. And the part that haunted me the most? He didn't look angry. He looked free. I tried one more tactic. Something dramatic, yes, but honest for once. I wrote him a letter, 3 pages front and back. I poured everything into it. The loneliness, the confusion, the resentment. I wrote about how small I felt asking for money, how I missed being seen, how I didn't know when love started feeling like a transaction. I admitted things I hadn't said out loud before, like how I sometimes picked fights just to feel something real, like how I used the kids to make him feel guilty, like how I never actually wanted a divorce. I left it on the counter. I didn't hand it to him. I didn't text him after. I waited and waited. The letter disappeared one day, but he never said a word about it. The lawyer called me a week later. Not his lawyer. My lawyer. Apparently, Evan had already covered the retainer. "No rush," the assistant said gently. "Just take your time. He wants this to be amicable." Amicable. I hated that word. It sounded like a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. That night, after putting the kids to bed, I sat in the living room surrounded by toys no one had cleaned up and silence no one bothered to fill. I stared at the bookshelf, at the framed family photo from 3 years ago. Evan had his arm around me. I was laughing, eyes squinting in the sun. Mia was missing a front tooth. Luca was holding a half-melted popsicle. I remember thinking, this is it. This is happiness. But the truth is, I wasn't happy even then. I was restless, always needing more. More control, more attention, more proof that I mattered. And Evan, he kept giving, quietly, steadily, until there was nothing left to give. And when he stopped, I blamed him for being empty. I had dinner alone, cleaned up alone, folded laundry alone. And as I was putting away Mia's favorite pajama set, the one with the tiny clouds, she walked in, rubbing her eyes. "Can I ask something?" she said. "Of course, baby. Did you want to win?" "Win what?" She shrugged. "The arguments, the house, Dad, everything." I sat down on the bed. No, I wanted to be heard. She looked at me for a long time. "Sometimes," she said quietly, "I think you wanted to win more than be happy." Then she hugged me. Tight, honest, gentle. The kind of hug you give someone who's already lost. I lay in bed that night, in the quiet Evan left behind, wondering how long I had been confusing love with control. How long I had believed that being taken care of meant being oppressed. How long I had demanded proof of loyalty from a man who gave me everything but himself. And now? Now I had all the access I ever wanted. To the bank account, to the house, to the silence. But not to him. Never again to him. The hardest part wasn't losing the marriage. It was realizing I was the one who broke it. Not with one catastrophic moment, but with 1,000 little cuts. Each complaint, each manipulation, each time I chose to be right instead of kind. He didn't leave me to punish me. He left because eventually, even the kindest man has to save himself. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. If you want to share your stories, please comment below. Additionally, what is your opinion on the poster's decision?